What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, a.k.a. JT, a.k.a. Jay On, a.k.a. Sherpa Winfrey, host and producer of DomainSherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a DomainSherpa review, where we get into the minds of successful domain investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become more successful domain name investors ourselves. These are the experts, the OGs, the best in the biz, my personal friends. They're more like co-hosts than guests. And let's go ahead and I guess we got 4 segments to the DomainSherpa review. At some point, I don't know that I need to keep going over these on the show, and I say that a lot, but then yet here we go, continuing to say exactly what each segment is going to be for those instances where we got a newbie on the show watching for listening for the first time. We've got the grand opening. That's where we are right now. That's where I intro the Sherpas, see what's going on with them, talk about some related things, some unrelated things. Then we get into the domain game. That's where we hear about what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Everybody guesses, we keep score, and eventually, somehow, some way, someday, get some swag to the winner. Josh, I got your hoodie. Although you're gonna have to rock an extra large until the new ones come in, man. You know what I'm saying? So it might be a little baggy on you. You really look like Slim Shady. You know what I'm saying? And then segment 3, we got NameJet and Jet, sponsored by our friends at NameJet. We review a list of domains coming up for auction, see what the Sherpas like and what they don't like. And then last but not least, we'll get into GrandClosing. That's where we discuss anything we haven't covered already, what's going on in the domain space, looking at the market trends, current events, allowing our guests to mention and promote anything they want to talk about that we have not already discussed. Yeah. So with all that, let's go ahead and introduce the Sherpas. Over to my right, I got my boy Bar Frantic, a.k.a. Barman, a.k.a. Bartman, a.k.a. Always Sunny, a.k.a. Bar Schizophrenic, a.k.a. Raising the Bar, a.k.a. Passing the Bar, a.k.a. the Bartender. Bartender's just a pharmacist with limited inventory, man. Shout out to Albert Einstein. What is up?
What's up, JT? Go Birds.
Go Birds. Yeah, boy. Go Birds. How you feeling about the offseason, man? What do you think?
I'm feeling pretty good. There's been a lot of players leaving the team, but still a great team. So I'm excited for next year. Let's repeat.
Yeah.
Let's repeat.
Hey, man. That would be crazy. But yes, CJ Gardner-Johnson was the only player for me. I mean, look, I don't want to lose anybody from a dominant championship team like that. But he was the guy that I was a bit surprised. But it's a money thing. You got to manage the cap. You got to give young guys a chance to step up, and So I think and faith in Howie, man. In Howie we trust. So that's what it is.
Be all right.
Let's go. All right, let's keep it moving. To my lower right, we got my boy Shane Culture, a.k.a. Sugar Shane, a.k.a. Honey Shane, a.k.a. Mike Rowe, a.k.a. Blame It on the Shane, a.k.a. the Culture Personality, a.k.a. Doing It for the Culture. Chain. What's going on, man? How are you?
Great. Spring weather. It's my time of year, man. Finally, I can wear shorts running and get outside, mow the yard without an extra large hoodie.
Okay. What are you in cold weather? What are you wearing to run? Are you wearing sweatpants, or are you more like a tight, like a tights and shorts guy?
Simple rules. Over 32 is shorts. Under, and then it's just basically a top. Like, I'm a cotton guy. Like, I'm not a polyester guy. I wear cotton. So,
yeah.
Yeah, no. There's no bad weather. It's just bad clothing. That's how it works.
Okay, yeah, that's some Midwest Northern talk right there. That's some Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. It gets
the treadmill
here.
just doesn't work. And don't get me wrong, I like the gym as much as anybody, but it's good to get outside. Like, you just look at how happier people are when the weather's nice. Florida, you guys get that a little more, but we get that change of season where these people come out and they start smiling again when it's nice weather.
Yeah. All right, well, let's keep it moving. And last but not least, below me, we got my boy Josh Reason, a.k.a. Bjorn Borg, a.k.a. Prince Harry, a.k.a. Harry Kane, a.k.a. Prince Harry Kane, a.k.a. Slim Shady, a.k.a. D and Exits. It's dark and hell is hot. X gonna give it to you. Stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. What's up, dude? How are you?
What's up, dude? Good to be here.
I added some of those AKAs, man. It kind of caught me off guard. But what's happening, man? How you living?
Nah, good man. Just here to fill in the numbers as usual. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, I'm glad you're here. Hey, look, you said after the last time, you're like, next time I'd like to maybe be able to talk a little bit. There's only one way that can happen.
That's right.
We gotta wait till,
if you want more furniture, you got to get rid of some of the old furniture.
we gotta wait till Drew, once he slides out for a hot second, we'll all get to say our piece. Nah, just playing, Drew. We love you. We miss you, man. You know what I'm saying? He's actually kind of been where Barman's background is right now. That's basically Drew is in paradise, and He's in the Maldives.
I know you're not watching this, Drew, so I'll say whatever.
Exactly right. He doesn't even watch it when it's himself, let alone when it's just
I
us.
admit I took it pretty rough when I heard my birthday wasn't a real event. So
Oh, all right. Well, let's see. So what else is good though, real quick, before we kind of get into it? Everybody doing good? Anybody got anything before we slide into the domain game?
No, we had a good week. I had a podcast on MoneyWise come out today. Kind of went over my numbers,
Cool.
which I don't
Put it
like
out there in
sharing
the
that much
universe, dude.
detail.
Yeah.
It's
Overshared.
yeah, but you don't if you don't
IRS
prove
is
your net worth, they don't let
Oh,
you on.
I know.
You
And
guys should
that's
know.
Sam Parr is super dope. The whole that whole podcast sort of network, and the fact that you were on it, I think is actually is an honor in itself,
Yeah.
and it's a testament to the work you put in, the success you've had, man. So congratulations, dude. I haven't listened
Thank
yet,
you.
but definitely excited.
You know me well enough. And then my friend won the Boston Marathon, John, yesterday, which is big for our group. So
Yeah.
we work in Kenya. I've worked in Kenya
Yeah.
for years, and I work with Wesley and John, our teammates. And John won the frickin' Boston Marathon yesterday. So he and his brother have both won the Boston Marathon, which is the first brothers to ever win Boston. So it was super
crazy.
exciting, man. Yeah. And I texted him like, dude, it's like the whole thing, which the money's not that great when you win. The behind the scenes is your appearance fees from that are a couple $100,000 a race. So you actually make appearance fees for the rest of your life because you're a winner. So
No
winners
way.
get paid to show
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
It's been like a minute since I've been on the show, so I just wanted to. I know it's a little late, but I wanted to shout out the ICA meeting in Vegas because that was a great. That was like my first domain thing, and it was great meeting all you guys. So everybody that's in the space and hasn't gone, highly suggest you.
Dude, absolutely,
Yeah.
man. Big shout out to the
Visit those
ICA. I'm
meetings.
I'm on the board, and
JT is the guy now. You didn't know?
I'm pretty excited about my
I
opportunity
voted
to
for you.
help. Yeah, thank you. That was great. Not everybody did, but don't worry, the ones who didn't, I know who you are. We're gonna have that
Oh,
conversation.
damn. What
The
was
reg fees are going
Reg fees going up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But no, but actually, speaking of the ICA, they just published the joint WIPO ICA UDRP. You know what? In fact, Billy, let's go ahead and put that on the in the show notes. So it's the initial report of the WIPO ICA UDRP review project team, which is really crazy. What people don't realize, because I think people take a lot of how the sausage gets made, for granted in general in a lot of things. And this is no different. This is not an exception. But Zach, I mean, they were early on in the process. WIPO, I don't want to say wouldn't even take a meeting, but getting in front of WIPO, working with WIPO, was not an easy thing. They're pretty monolithic, right? And over time, just continuing to provide value, show worth, and continue to persist has really been super, super helpful. So now, Zach has gotten with the WIPO folks, and they've done this, started with this initial report of, the UDRP process and some of that stuff. And then, just, one of my favorite things and one of the things I was most excited about or encouraged about that led to me wanting to participate on the board at the ICA, as well as, obviously we're pretty, long-standing, high-paying sponsor and member of the ICA, is the work that the team is doing with UDRP sort of education, not only reform, I guess, to a degree, but the worst thing that can happen for a domain owner of a big, high-value premium domain name is to have it taken, sort of unjustly, unfairly in a UDRP action, which then you have to go and appeal in an actual court of law, and it becomes an enormous undertaking from a cost, time, and you may actually not even get the name back. So it's a lot of work to protect the rights of domain registrants, which a lot of the domain investors, obviously, that's a key aspect of what we do, our assets and our portfolio. So that's my long way of saying that Zach is the man. The ICA is awesome, and they're doing great work. And definitely check out that report if you've, if you have some insomnia and you're trying to get to bed. But if you are not already a member and you are involved in a member of the domain space, then, get your stuff together, get in. It's not crazy expensive. Come participate, hang out at the annual meeting, which is only going to get bigger and better. We're going to have some cool stuff coming out around that. But that will be back in January in Vegas. and definitely worth your time. So hey, Bar, thanks for shouting that out, man. That's super, super cool. And it was great to see in person. We can slide into the domain game. So let's go ahead and do that. So Bar, let's start with you, man, since you are the upper left in the screen. You got to buy, you got to sell. What's up?
I mean, let's do a sell, I guess.
So if you ask me buy or sell, I sell. Sales are the best. It's success, and it's also
the best.
You get the whole life cycle. You get to find out.
I mean, the problem is we talk about these in other channels, so I'm trying to pick something that we haven't talked about in a long time.
Domain Discord.
I will mention, or I'll talk about what is it? Freckle.io, which is on a payment plan, but it's 75% of the way there, and there's like a live site, so I'm pretty sure that's going to go through. So I'm not going to jinx it.
All right,
so I'll talk about that. Freckle.io. Just sold about 8 months ago.
Check it out. Jalen Hurts to AJ Brown. You see it?
Nice.
All right. All right.
JJ.
Oh yeah, that's a great one too. I love the picture of him sitting in the. That's for those who are not watching and are listening. The back of my phone case has a little. I forget what you call these things. It's a little animation.
Holograms.
Yeah, that goes from Jalen Hurts throwing a touchdown to AJ Brown, and Bar showing a picture of Jalen Hurts post Super Bowl parade. Well, not parade, but Super Bowl with the confetti. Picture of him in the locker room where he's sitting there with the cigar and the Super Bowl trophy is pretty badass too, man. There's some go birds. All right, here we go. Freckle.io. All right, I'm the delay. All right, ready, set, flip it. All right. Ooh, we are close. Oh, I'm squeezed here. So Shane's at 12,500. I'm at 15,000. Josh with $15,888. We on the pin.
Are we going with the actual retail value or what has been paid so far?
Retail.
Yeah, the
retail is 20 grand.
20 grand. Josh with the point. Bang. That's solid, man. That's a good sale. So talk to us. How long had you before you put, we'll talk about the payment plan, but what was the what'd you buy it for? How long do you have it before you got it under contract? And then where is it currently on, being held?
I paid let's see, 1,100 for it on Park.io back in September 2021.
Okay.
So that's roughly, I don't know, a little over 3 years.
Okay.
Roughly 3 years since when I sold it. I think the payment plan started on Dan, but now it's on Afternic.
Okay.
But yeah, I was all the same company now. So
yeah, well, that's awesome, dude. Nice little, 20x. And I think that's really good. I think it's good value for the name. I feel like that's a good price for it. I think you got it at a good price. Although
I usually like a better multiple on my .ios, but that's a little less I don't know, like commercially viable of a name than like something more generic.
Cool. Let's see, what is the it's data, some kind of data thing. I like it. Data enrichment. All right, interesting. Well, that'll be my rabbit hole for later, but I like it, and I think that's a good deal. And interestingly, so talk to me about how so if you had a domain holding deal, a lease to own, or whatever it is, on Dan, they all ported over to Afternic?
They did, yeah. They started, I guess, at Dan, and then at some point, they all, I think at the beginning of the year, they all ported over to Afternic.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure everybody's shared the same experience.
They did offer them a buyout. Like all the people that they ported over, they emailed first saying, "Hey, we're switching over the payment plan. If you'd like to buy out, would you like to give them a?" I don't know if you got this, but if you'd like to make an offer as a buyout price, you can make that offer before the transition. I don't know if you got that, but I got that on some of them.
Yeah, I wasn't buying any. I didn't have any on payment plans that I was buying.
No. Yeah, no, to the seller. You see what I'm saying? Right. For the seller, they could buy out and not take the plan any further.
Okay.
That makes sense because they're going to have to transition it. And they go, well, you want to close it up now? Would you prefer to just pay it off so we don't have to change anything? So, and that's when I only know it because I was trying to do the math. I'm like, okay, what are they going to say? Because remember, they pay interest extra if it's a certain amount of time. So, yeah.
Well, it was pretty cool. Yeah, we didn't really, I guess we didn't really have any domain lease deals that were pending at Dan when it moved over. So I just wasn't sure how seamless the process was. And How about from a back end perspective? Did they just sort of show up? Was Afternic already offering domain lease deals at the time when that happened?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I think
don't think-
yeah, they use that Dan technology to do it. I just remember like payment stopped for like a month or two, and then I just got like 8 emails about it was moved over to Afternic, and
Got it.
I feel like they've all been accurately paid so far.
Okay.
Should probably double check, but I'm pretty sure they have been. So
Do you get the emails? Adam does it quite a bit too, where you have a buyer that wants to pay it off if you will give them a discount or a different price.
I haven't had that happen to me yet. I've had people pay off early, but no like email like that. They just like paid off the rest of it.
Yeah.
Does Adam offer that as like an option for the buyers to do it automatically, or do they do it?
Yeah, I don't know who initiated that conversation, but I've gotten 2 emails of people saying, we still have 100K left. Would do it for 80 if if you would sell it. And you just have to do the math of like, what's the money worth to me now? They're going to have to pay an extra 25% already by paying it off. They're already getting a pretty big discount if they pay now, those kind of things. So I just remember having those mathematical. And the other thing is you're trying to decide, do I want the payment? Like, do you trust that the payment's going to come? Because it is kind of nice to have a monthly payment. Sure. I know it's better to have the cash in hand, but there is a reality of there's something nice about getting a monthly check as cash flow.
People either use AI in one of 2 ways. They're either very basic with it, which is just like, hey, Grok, what's the capital of New Mexico, versus the people that really do the crazy prompting, with all sorts of like feature. Are you guys pretty heavy with AI? Like, how much are you using it?
I'm using a decent amount. I mean, you're right that the setting up of the prompt and like learning how to prompt is so important. I saw this like funny, I guess it was a tweet. It was like, 10,000 prompts is the new 10,000 hours. Like,
okay, yeah,
getting good at prompting is really like going to be huge, because yeah, like you said, you can just ask really dumb questions, but like you don't always get what you want. But like setting up that prompt correctly is like 90% of the work, especially with like coding.
Well, it's insane. It's like the idea of like, all right, our cell phones have the same, like, more tech than the tech that launched like the Apollo missions, right? But people use it to go on social media and watch TikTok videos, right? It's like, the actual capability is pretty crazy, and it's only getting more and more intense. So the people who really understand that and know that, it's like they're seeing the future. Everybody else is like, like I said, it's just a glorified Ask Jeeves, and so it's pretty interesting.
I think the interesting part is like having this middleman of like, we use Zapier in the middle, because you don't want your AI agent to actually go into your Google Mail and take action. So you use these in between people of Zapier that have the trust that go in and handle it and then bring it back out. So there's this whole new world of agents in the middle of agents for security. And it's, it's crazy. You really can do almost anything you need right now if you dig in deeper.
Oh, dude. Well, the agentic stuff, and I think, agent's been a pretty hot, popular term, but I think it's even more so. Obviously AI still continues to eat the world. We'll probably get into a little AI conversation if we want, especially without Drew here, to tell us, to go on his tirade. But because I actually do think that, watching the demand for .ai domains is pretty heavy at the moment, and we see it on the acquisition side. We definitely have client, but they're also looking for XYZs and .ios. I'm talking about the non-com stuff. Obviously, the com stuff is still the bread and butter and the most predominant. But .ai domains, man, doing their thing.
I think here's another thing that I found interesting is, I keep my charts of all my domains I buy and sell, and I've been doing it manually. And you can use a domain management, but now I've just built something. I just type in, today I bought a name at Dynadot for $69, and automatically just throws it in there. It goes and looks up the who is, throws in the date, throws in the price. I said it was today, so it throws in the date. I can just type in what I've done. I don't have to do anything in the spreadsheet anymore. Like, I'm not cutting and pasting anymore. I literally just tell it what I want it to do, and it does it all for me now. That's how I work, right? I'd rather have that. I can do it in my phone. I can say, hey, I don't have to type it in. that's how I want to do it. I'm just too lazy to do everything else. I come back like a week later and start adding stuff, or I sell something. Go, I didn't even add that in. Like I forgot to put that in. So those are it's the fun kind of things. But the long story short is we can do a lot of things now with AI to make things really easy for our users and for ourselves when it comes to domains.
Josh, I know we're doing some AI stuff, obviously, with DNX, but what about you personally? Are you using AI like in your day-to-day?
Honestly, not that much. I should be using it more. I use ChatGPT on my phone for like various things. But you know, I try to keep things fairly simple on my own personal side. And with like DNX, as you say, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing that is AI centric. So I'm certainly getting enough exposure to it, but I'm just not that like, I don't love it. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't love it. I think that it's moving a little too fast, and the more I use it, the more I think about that, and it's a little scary. So I'm not trying to personally overindulge in the use of AI for that reason only. But I certainly believe that it's about to like eat everyone's lunch. So in
Well, and I
just
think
about every field.
Yeah, and I think Shane made the point, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm a little hesitant to like go all in, because I just don't want to necessarily share all the access. I don't feel like I need it. I'm sure there are things that I could do that would make my day to day easier.
That's it. That's it.
But I'm like, man, but then like I put the ghost in the machine, and then it's like,
That's it.
what's the like? There's enough risk. Get hacked and scammed, and your wallets, and there's just a lot of risk.
It's like your phone, right? It's like you can do everything on your phone now, like everything from like Apple Pay to, you don't need to carry a wallet around anymore, and you barely need your laptop. You could like just about manage your entire work process on your phone, and it's like you can do that, and it is potentially better, and it is potentially more convenient, but is it better for your like lifestyle individually? Maybe not,
That's
I mean,
interesting.
try writing a long tweet with like a bunch of links on your phone. It's a pain in the ass. Sometimes you just need that old school desktop.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you're up, Shane. We got a domain. You got to buy or a sell. What you got?
I think you guys may know this one, but it's kind of a process story. So I sold OakLeafLandscape.com. OakLeafLandscape.
I don't know this. OakLeafLandscape.com. All right. All right. Let's go, boys. What do we Josh, whenever you're ready, no rush, all good. All right, ready, set, flip it. All right, we've got Josh at $850, Bar at $3,995, and I'm at $5,000 even.
Josh wins. It was $999.
Oh my God!
But I'll tell you the story behind it. I hand registered 50 landscape and lawn care.coms 3 and 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I had them at $39.95, and maybe one sold. And I knocked them down to $19.95, nothing. But then I started putting them at $9.99, and they're selling every week, like constantly moving through. It just, for a landscaper, it's a no thought process number for some reason. And it worked well. I mean, I don't have any, I paid $12 a piece for them. So I had like $500 in then renewals, and it's a really good income source now. And it did take getting down to $9.99, which is way below. I don't think I've ever sold a name under $2 or $3 grand lately, but it's a different model of doing the hand. And I know Josh has experimented with a lot more hand reg lately, but that's an industry I know. So I know what names they use in front of lawn care and landscape. Like I see the ones that roll through. And so I just bulk, and I could do that again for another 100. So I've started doing it again, just adding more to it. But
I love it, man.
I'm just a plant farmer. All right.
Yeah. All right. What? So Exitus.io. Exitus.io. All right. What do you got? Is that $300 or $4,300?
Oh, sorry.
Am I backwards?
Ooh,
43.
Bar and I are
Oh.
each at $2,500. That's
Jinx.
interesting. And then Shane's at 4,300. So should Bar and I, you want to say over or under, Bar?
Under.
All right.
Hmm. I
So
don't sell names that cheap.
What is that?
Exitus is a Latin word, by the way, meaning death. So
Like exit.
it keeps getting better and better.
so it is a multi-million-dollar name. It was $4,888.
Oh, Bar got the rain. All right, Shane. Nice. Shane picks up a point. A little consolation prize for today on the domain game.
I used my
all
history
right.
of Josh to get that because anybody else that would be at 2,500, but Josh doesn't sell names for 2,500.
All right. Yeah. So what's the deal? What'd you buy it for? How long do you have it?
Gosh, man. Let's have a look. Sorry, I should know that you're gonna ask that question because you're such a good host.
Every time, man. Consistency, baby.
It's
like when
I
Drew shows up
paid-
and he's like, "What is this domain game that you're talking about?"
I paid $5 for it in
Wow.
2020 in the Network Solutions.io sale. Do you remember when they did that? They did like the $4.99.io sale at Network Solutions, and then everyone like was pulling their hair out trying to figure out how to transfer them out.
That's like a beach vacation in Haiti.
Yeah, but
Hey, we got condos in Haiti for $300 a week.
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like a timeshare, then you can't escape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
so
like
true.
a Columbia House DV. It's a Columbia House CD. Sign up.
I think I actually ended up doing pretty good from that little promo, and that's just one of a few sales that I had. So, but 5 renewals in there as well. So what's that? That's probably another $100 on top. More now.
Good.
Is it still there, or were you able to? Did you move it all out?
No, I got that. I didn't have one. I've never renewed a name at Network Solutions. Is that? But what's up with .ai, dude? Are you thinking about diving in, or I know you had that zip.ai sale, and that was like one of the few names that you had, and then are you planning to use some of those profits to buy some more?
That's a great question. I'm trying to dip my toe in the water in some of these expired auctions, but obviously getting outbid like crazy. So yeah, I'm just a little bit, but like not really. Like I feel like I missed the boat at this point because
Well, and
made my money and got out.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, like, and this is the piece and this is what, so I'll go ahead and make Drew's argument for him a little bit. His point is not that .ai domains don't have value. It's just that, in order to really be able to capitalize on the value, you needed to be way ahead of the curve, like Andy and James and the folks that were buying .ai domains 5-6 years ago, and just loading up. And then as the wave has now happened, ride it out as long as you can. Which I think is still going to be a wave for a while. But it's just tough when you're like, oh, hey, am I going to buy one more .ai that's now $20,000, right?
Where is it only $20,000?
But
there you go.
Andy and James were not early, man. They started buying .ais when they were like $20,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They just thought there was another wave coming, and they've proven there has been for those names.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are very good at catching the wave. They might as well be.
Dude, those guys, they're they're surfers. You know what I'm saying?
They're silver surfers, man.
Silver surfers. Ooh, I like that for them. You know what I'm saying?
Caught that Bored Ape wave.
Well, they were in the same boat around Bored Apes, if you remember, right? They came in like we actually were in before they were. We kind of helped.
No, Andy was early. He was with me.
It wasn't earlier than Shane.
He was around the same time as us. Yeah, Andy was.
All right, let's get into the next segment, which is NameJet and a Jet, sponsored by NameJet. We'll review a list of domains coming up for auction, see what the Sherpas like, what they don't like. And if you go to the DomainSherpa site on this particular show's post, You can pull the Excel spreadsheet that'll have the domain, the estimate appraisal, how many back orders as of the time that we put the list together, when the back order end date is effectively ending, when you got to have your back orders in if you want to be able to so sorry, hold on. Yo, can you get my door? Thank you. That's my AI agent, opening and closing doors in my house for me. But yeah, so check it out and hopefully it helps. But not financial advice, but let's talk about what names that these guys like and don't like. Shane, do you have the list?
I do. I see obviously I work on the NameJet list every day, so I've seen most of these. It's not my favorite list, but I think of them, one that I really liked was MountainHigh because it has a lot of different use cases. Obviously, cannabis comes to mind, especially in Colorado, where it's probably the most popular state, being mountainous state and one of the biggest cannabis places. So I like MountainHigh. I think it's probably a 5-figure name when it's all said and done. And I don't think it'll go for all that much, although I haven't seen what it's, how many, there's 25 back orders, but I think it'll probably be 1,200, 1,500. So probably 12, 15 grand I'd price it at. Horseback riding, there's still tours. That was the other one I like. I don't know. I don't think there's lead generation for horse rides, but maybe is that the second highest appraisal? So
It is, yep.
But I do like horseback riding. I'm not sure what to do with it, but I know horseback.com isn't as good. Like, I think that's the only way to talk about, other than, what would you call horseback riding tours? Like when you go to Hawaii or to the beach or
yeah, no, I think that's it. I think it's literally horseback riding. Like that is the term for what that is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
And
not
it
like
is a thing.
no one
It's
says
a
like, oh, let's
legitimate
go horse riding. You know what I'm saying? No one says like,
Yeah.
let's go, horsing.
I think that's the exact match for it. So there might be something to that. If you could build out, like, again, it's easy to say if you build out, but in general, that is a business opportunity there to do what's the big tour site? I have them on my websites. What's the ones you can book tours to all the different places. But anyway, there's a company that has a really good affiliate program for
Apple tours, maybe? Is it Apple tours?
Yeah, it's not Apple, but you would, I don't know. I'll look at it when other guys are talking, but it has a great affiliate program. And then Farmstead's pretty good too, but not a lot of people use that word. I just know it because we're in the middle of farming and lots of land. So farmsteads are sold all the time. And when we think of farmsteads, we think of house and land combination. So you get not only buying farmland, but you get a home with it as well.
I like Farmstead. To me is a cool name. I agree with you about it. Horseback riding is so on the nose that it's hard for that to be a brand that involves anything else. Horseback maybe could be, like a name that, could be a company of a different, could be even an app or whatever, like something.
Yeah.
Farmstead, though, to me is not like, I'm not going to farmstead.com that could be a furniture company. That could be something involved with land. That could be something involved with could be clothing.
To me, it seems rural. To me, it represents rural.
Yeah, but that's why I'd like it is, in like a, sort of rustic
as a
furniture,
brand,
type of thing. That I could see. All right, cool.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll say, the one that I didn't like as much is Safes. It's literally the most unshippable product out there, other than small ones.
That's a great point, man.
So I looked at that the other day, and I was thinking, it's not great for putting something that's secure online. So like Safe obviously would be some kind of storage or something, but Safes is literally a product, and it's literally one of the most unshippable products out there.
Yeah, no, it's tough. That says obviously the highest appraisal by far. I mean, it's a $500,000 appraisal. But yeah, that's a tough one because it's like, you talk about the difference that the plural makes over the singular, right? And, safe.com obviously would be millions of dollars.
Yeah,
that takes me down a different rabbit hole to see who actually has safe software. Yeah. It's just
I feel like that has to be something like digital. You can't, like Shane said, you can't sell safes and ship them, all that. Like if that's like a digital, like a crypto wallet or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the plural's tough. That's one of those that people are going to look at and go, oh, every house has a little safe in every bank. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you install them. Like literally, maybe you're a safe installer.
Yeah.
Like that it could be. There are
Like
companies that
custom safes, you know, like you do like
or
the
just
really
do bank
high-end.
vaults and things like that. Like that would work really well for somebody like that.
All right, Josh, what about you, man? What do you like? What don't you like?
Not a big fan of any of these, to be honest. Smartscope.com, decent name. Like none of them like jump out to me, and I'm like in love with them. But like metric with a Q dot com, that's a cool name. Can definitely see a brand using that. MountainHigh.com. Good name. Like I definitely see that being used as a brand. They're all like good names, but not names that I would go out of my way to like make sure that I was around to to bid on the auction. I think that like people like Bar and Shane and you said safes is a tough sell. Like retail wise, I do think that there is maybe an angle with like with like the physical safes. I know they are hard to ship, but it does look like there are some end users out there that are selling safes online, and it is like one of those like rich people's products. You know what I mean? Like rich
If you're
people
ordering a safe, you're spending a little bit of money for it because you're
yeah,
obviously
like could I see a wealthy person who's got a shit ton of money ordering a safe for 25 grand and paying like a 5 grand delivery cost or whatever? Yeah, I'm guessing that probably happens, and I'm sure there are probably some websites out there that offer that service, but it's probably more of like a you know, not necessarily a digital service, but more like a hands-on approach. I know a guy, he can do this, he can get you a safe. And so, I mean, you got to think that there probably is some value in safes.com and being like the authority in that space. So I actually quite like that name, but probably not for whatever price that it ends up going for. It's one of those that I could see that going a little bit too high, but I would, I would probably be in for like 10, 15.
which is still a pretty cool little brand, is somewhat gettable. So I think, so I'm with you on that one. All right, cool. All right, Bar, what about you, man? Bring us home.
Let's see. I mean, Josh mentioned the ones I like the most. I like Metric as a brandable. Runco is pretty decent. I haven't looked into like users of these names, but I tend to buy names just like based on their own merit, not like how many end users might be out there to buy, which is probably the wrong way to do it. But I like SmartScope. I love alliteration with names. Farmstead, I guess, is okay. I don't know anything about farmsteads, but homestead would be a banger. I feel like that's a way more popular term and more people know what that means. So I'm trying to talk about the ones that people haven't talked about, like head injury, I guess might be, I don't know, a great one for legal, but yeah, I'm like the other guys have said, not the greatest list. I don't know anything about .org or .orgs in general, but a 2-letter .org. I don't know if anybody wants to talk about that one because that's pretty rare, but I don't know. I don't see the value
And you're on mute.
.org.
Yeah, what's a 2-letter.org at wholesale? I don't know anymore. I haven't really paid attention. I don't know what they're going for. I guess I'd have to do research. I'd put a name bio.
.org.
They can say .org.
No, I'm with it. I thought Shane would have said something about Runco. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a little little running name.
I might have a bid on that one.
Oh, that's why he's like, that's exactly why I didn't say anything about that one. All right, I think we've literally talked about every single name on the list. Rock the domain game. We did our thing. Good job, guys. All right, cool. Well, we'll do a real quick grand closing, kind of go around the room. I know we sort of did that early on. We talked about the ICA. But I'll start with you, Bar. Anything else that you want to mention that you're up to or you got going on?
Not really. I just wanted to I guess call out like what I miss about the show the most is the what happened to the domain name like portfolio review.
Oh, yeah.
You
we
got
used to do
tired of
that.
doing that? Or like roasting people's
No,
names?
it was, it's funny that you mentioned that because, yeah, the way they used to do it is they would do the portfolio review. And then I think the portfolio owner would then donate a couple bucks to charity, right? I think that was part of the process. We had a
Yeah.
submission form for it. I think when Michael sold it to Drew and then Tess was running it, I think they kind of got away from that a little bit. But hey, look, if there's a demand, you know what I'm saying? We can get into a little portfolio review up in here. Let the Sherpas get after it.
When I first started out, I submitted my portfolio or like 10 names or whatever. And I think I sold like 4 or 5 of those names since then.
Yeah, nice.
And what did everyone say about them?
They were like, "Oh yeah, it's okay. This one, nothing like great, but they're like, you kind of know what you're doing when you first started out." So that was encouraging, I guess, to keep going. But I do remember, most of them were not great
Okay.
portfolios. So it's mostly like a roast session. But I feel like those are fun. So
All right.
I'm
Who
not-
got
make
your
a note.
portfolio? Who was on the show? Do you remember?
I think I remember Doran specifically. I think Seiger was on it. I'd have to look it up. But I definitely remember Doran talking about a few of the names, but yeah, I think I submitted like 10 or so, and ironically or unironically, like a good amount of them sold. So
All right,
man, that's what's
and
up. All right, well,
Josh, what about you, man? What's up? DNX taking over
That's
the
it,
world?
man. That's it. Just DNX, bro. And I'm spending a lot of time on my own portfolio as well. Starting to just test a couple things, like get in the weeds. One of the cool things about getting to the point that I would say that I'm at right now is that I'm my portfolio basically looks after itself, and it gives me an opportunity to explore maybe untapped markets, or just like take some risks with like things that are not necessarily like mainstream, or it's not exactly by the book. And you once in a while you stumble across something that is untapped, and I'm just kind of messing around with that at the moment on the personal investment side. But yeah, spending a lot of time on DNX. We're doing really well, and I'm happy with the progress.
Yeah, well, good stuff, man. All right, well, maybe you and Shane might buy a data business together. I think that might be a conversation we'll have offline.
Dude, I love data. It's so fun, like analyzing data and then discovering things that you think are hidden well enough to the extent that most people aren't going to be able to find it. So
Data. I can't make jars without clay. Shout out to Sherlock Holmes, and I do think that you're right. I mean,
they're not using clay, by the way. It's Freckles.
it's oh, boom. Dude, and with that, I think that is a great way to close it out.